All right, we are back. Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap with Colleen Biggs. And I am so excited to have our guest today, Jessy George. And you all know me, I'm all about staying healthy and working out and watching what I eat and being on this healthy journey that I've been on. And today we're going to talk about what is your health worth? Our health is priceless, right? It's everything that we've got. Our bodies are temples. So we get to dive into that today. And I'm extremely excited to talk to Jessy more about that. But before we do, I want to thank our sponsor, No Problem Parenting. Are you frustrated with your kids? Do you constantly worry about them? Or maybe you're even just sick and tired of dealing with misbehaviors in your home. Well, have no fear because No Problem Parenting is here to help you turn an emotional or behavioral problem into a no problem while strengthening your relationships with your kids at the same time. You don't have to be the bad guy to get your kids to behave. Join the No Problem Parenting community where you will find down to earth, practical, fun, no nonsense, and even bass-ackwards tips and ideas on how to deal with and overcome any parenting challenge. Go to noproblimparenting.com and get started now. Become the confident leader your kids crave to be. Thank you so much, Jackie Finneman, for being our sponsor today and sharing No Problem Parenting with us. And then for all of you that still have not joined the LEAP community, please go over to colleenbiggs.net/community, colleenbiggs.net/community to find out what the LEAP community is all about. It is time for you to not be the world's best kept secret anymore. And it's time for you to step into the spotlight to expand your influence and attract the right clients. All right, now back to our show today and who we have as a guest, Miss Jessy George. She is a certified nutrition and wellness coach helping to reverse type 2 diabetes one person at a time. It is so important for professionals and entrepreneurs to reclaim their health because most of the struggles, as we know, are what yo-yo dieting, emotional eating, stress eating, and it's important that we create a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. So, Jessy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Colleen. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, Jessy, tell me, let's go back and tell our listeners, how did you get into, when did this become your mission, your purpose, part of your life to live a healthier life, to live a sustainable, healthy lifestyle for not only you, but your entire family?
First of all, I want to say I appreciate you and the two things that you said while you started your introduction was our health is priceless. Yeah. That is true. And our body is the temple. That's also, I talk about those two things because when we pay for price for something, we pay attention how much time we spend taking care of our fancy cars or house or whatever we have, but our health being priceless, it gets ignored.
Yeah.
I mean, I was one of them. That's why I love that.
Yes, so true. And usually it takes something like diabetes, a stroke, a heart attack, something detrimental to hit us before people want to change their lifestyle. Why is that? I feel like people are buying time, right? They're living on borrowed time. Maybe I should call it that.
A lot of that is there is no awareness. Nobody is teaching anybody anything. Like people are in a fast-paced society now, going for that shiny object, right? What's next? What is next? Which app is there to download? That's what most of the people go after.
Yeah. Health is something that we must focus on, right, Jessy? We must take care of ourselves and it must be purposeful, but it can be fun. We're reading the book right now, Atomic Habits, in the LEAP community, and he talks all about compounding and making a habit interesting and fun and attractable. So, I think of people that start in January and say, I'm going to lose all this weight. I'm going to make this, New Year's resolutions. They don't work, by the way, just a tip. And they say they're going to lose all this weight, go to the gym every day, unrealistic pieces. So you go from, let's say, not working out, not eating healthy. You can't expect overnight to just feel like you want to go to the gym every single day and feel like you want to eat healthy. That's not even natural. We have to work our way up to it. So what is some of the advice that you give your clients that you work with, and who are the clients that you typically work with, Jessy?
Let me go back to the first question,
Yes.
which I didn't answer. So I'm an electrical engineer from India. I came to US and then took my master's in engineering management, and I worked for 20 plus years for the same company while I was here. And I was pretty happy, it was flexible time and could be with my children when they were small. I was pretty happy. Then all of a sudden there was restructuring. Lots of things happened that didn't go in favor of me. Even though I worked 20 plus years, I lost my job. At that time, again, like everybody else, I was just an easygoing, autopilot, get up in the morning, get kids ready to go to school, husband ready to go to work, and then I go to work, and just was routine. I mean, I had a routine, of course, but the routine was like that. I never spent time for me. I just always wanted to, get things ready so that we could get to work. And leading up to all these transitions in my life, I had lots of things happen with family. My dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, sister had a cardiac arrest. All those are back in India. I was under a little stress. And that didn't help me in any way. In 2016, I was put on more medications for increase the dosage of my diabetic medication. I was put on high blood pressure medication. Then I had acid reflux. And all these things put my feet into edema because of high blood pressure and all those things. So I was in a mess. I had asthma all my life. That didn't get better. I was on more inhalers and, rescue inhaler, preventive inhaler, steroid inhaler, all those things. Then allergies, always on Benadryl or Zyrtec. I hardly survived my days going through just, I can survive kind of place. But then leading up to all these things in 2017, I lost my job. That's where pretty much everything kind of started. And I felt like I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, but I started questioning myself. As a Christian, what am I doing? Am I listening to God or am I spending time with God? So that time I felt like God was holding me in his hands and telling me, just take a break. Can you spend some time with yourself? So so that I can work with you. So I took that time. I listened to those intuition, the words that came to my head. I took a break. In 3 months, I was able to reverse the type 2 diabetes of 17 plus years at that time. And that's where my journey started. And leaving, after that, my doctor took me off of the blood pressure medications. Then I could quit my acid reflux medications. Then the edema went away. I could travel without the compression socks. And then the next thing I know is when a year went by, I could take inhaler off. I could walk without the inhaler. We went for a hike and I could walk without taking the inhaler. And that gave me more confidence and more strength to continue this journey. Now I'm off inhalers. I imagine all my life living on inhalers, and now all of a sudden I can live without inhalers. And allergy medications, no more Benadryl. I still use Zyrtec as needed because I still have allergies. Like if I dust the house or vacuum the house, I still feel like I need to take allergy medications. Yeah, but I survived the pollen season without asthma or allergies. So it's all over. The health is wealth. If we have health, we can focus on business, focus on job, focus on anything without having to worry about taking medication every few hours or whatever, right? One more thing to remember. You don't need to check your blood sugar every 2 hours after the meal and all the things that you otherwise have to do to keep keep up with the medication and your health. Yeah. That's where it all started.
I'm so glad you shared that story, because when you had made the decision to take better care of your health, pay attention to you and focus on that, your health changed. And this is for everybody. And anyone out there that's listening right now that thinks, oh, well, it works for her, but that doesn't work for me. That's not true, because we can heal ourselves. Food is medicine. And what were some of the first steps that you took, Jessy, to get to the point where you were able to reverse and get off of the medication for diabetes? What was really the first steps that you took once you took responsibility for your health?
First thing was journaling and spending time with me, believing in biblical promises that God has already given us.
Yeah.
So that was my first step. Then I felt like, I cook anyway. Well, Indian, I cook from home, Indian food and everything tasty and yummy, but I overate the things that I didn't need to eat, but I kept eating. And also I ate chocolate and pizza. A lot of things that kids wanted, I had at home.
Mm-hmm.
So eating lots of things. I started getting rid of my carbohydrate intake, like the pizza and other processed food first. Then I focused on, my measuring my blood sugar so that I can manage it to see how my food affected. Then I calibrated it for my needs.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's different. Everybody's insulin resistance is different. Some people can eat and still digest and still fine.
Yeah.
I had to look after every 2 hours what I ate, after eating and fasting and everything. I calibrated with the food that I like to eat. You don't need to go to anybody's diet plan or anything. I just eat vegetables and meat and healthy fats, and eliminated canola oil from I used to have a lot of canola oil at home. I fried everything in it, cooked everything in it. I got rid of that. So started eliminating all the junk from home. First step.
Mm-hmm.
And removing sugar and carbohydrate from my personal food choices. That's how I started. And I saw the blood sugar going down and my fasting sugar normalizing. And then I went for my A1C, and doctor was even surprised. He said, keep doing what you're doing. And then since it's been like that.
Jessy's making a really good point here for all of you, which is it doesn't happen overnight. She talked about just reducing carbohydrates to start, right? And then reducing sugars and preservatives and those types of foods that she didn't need, eating less portions. So this was a process over time of her building this. It wasn't that she overnight said, I'm going to cut all of this out, because that's where the struggle comes in. Processed foods and those things, maybe just start with that. I knew someone who started with sugary drinks and started drinking more water and just taking their sodas out of their everyday. But maybe they drank 8 sodas a day, so they went down to 2 a day or 3 a day for a while, and then eventually just eliminated them altogether. So I think it's in steps for this process, but your health is worth your life. And so if I were to ask you, what is your life worth? I don't know how anyone could put a price tag on that, but this is the one body, the one chance we get. And God does say that our bodies are our temples. So what are we putting in them? How are we treating them? How are we taking care of them? I used to even take my body for granted back in my, 30s and 40s when I was a runner and was studying to be a black belt. And I still wasn't happy with my body then. And it was the strongest, healthiest it had ever been. So now my focus, as I'm in my 50s, my focus now is to focus on my health, my inside of my body. So everything I focus on is, what am I putting in my body? What do I take for supplements? What are my blood levels? What am I deficient on? What do I need more of? What do I eat more of to fill those levels? And that's kind of how we choose our food these days in my house for my husband and I. Jessy, what are some tips that the listeners can take away from today on just, some changes that you've applied with your clients, especially if someone is sitting with type 2 diabetes. Now, type 1 diabetes is something completely different. My husband had type 1, my ex-husband had type 1 diabetes. My best friend growing up in school had type 1 diabetes. Usually that comes on at an early age, sometimes, 4, 5, 9, 12, somewhere around there. And that is, medication dependent. But for type 2 diabetes, that can be changed with a lifestyle change. So what are some things that you recommend for someone who might be dealing with high blood pressure or diabetes?
The first thing is to know where they want to go, understand and why they want to go there, right?
Yeah.
Like we plan a vacation trip. We think about, dream about the place that we need to go, and then we arrange everything. Like then we pack up the car or plane and go, right? So we did all those processes first. So we need to know where you want to be. For me, it was to see my children growing up. I had them late in my life. So not like everybody in the 20s had children. Mine first was born at 35, when I was 35. So I wanted to see them growing up. Otherwise, I would not be here to see milestones in my children's life. So I wrote that down. I still is in the front of my eye right now as we talk, why I wanted to do this, because I long to see my children growing up.
That's beautiful. So step number one, know your why.
Know your
why. Why do you want to do it? Right.
That's the first step. So if we know where we want to go, how to get there automatically comes, because we focus on that. Like, again, like a vacation. Once we figure out where we want to go, we know what we want to do there, and we can plan our whatever we want to do there, like vacation, accommodation, or the things we need to do there. All those things we can book once we know. So first step is to know your why, and then really dive deep into it with the emotions that come with it, like when you achieve your why. For me, I dream about going to my children's graduation, my kids' wedding, having grandchildren and playing with them, sitting on the floor, being able to sit on the floor and play with grandkids. Those are my dreams, and going to places and maybe supporting them to take care of their children, and being able to move to a place without having to worry about my health. So write down all those emotions that you would have if you had, if you have a better health. How would you be enjoying your life? What would you be doing? I like to go hiking, which I couldn't do. I always say, I go and sit at the bottom. My family will go and come back and show me the picture of what they saw. Now I can go see what they see.
Yeah.
That's an amazing gift that God gave me. I cannot forget that, because being an asthmatic, I couldn't walk. And I had to carry my blood sugar monitor and a letter from the doctor whenever I went to a theme park or anywhere, so that I can carry my food. But now I don't. So all those are the blessings that God gave me, and I'm so grateful for that. So nowadays I write that first. First thing happens is writing 5 things I'm grateful for in my life. Then after that, I read scripture, I read a book, a few things I do. I have my routine before I get into my work or anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like my morning, Jessy. It's exactly what I do in my morning. I pray and I write my gratitudes and I read scriptures. And I also read books that are motivational, that assist me, that assist my clients, that help me with inspiration on what I'm going to say on my podcast, or, what I might say on a live video, or, anything that I'm building, a course, or, just preparing for the day. And it really has helped me. And when I don't do that, if I'm off of my regular routine because I'm traveling or with family, it throws me off a little bit, because I miss that time that I have with myself in the morning. And, Jessy made it very clear today that if you do not fill up your cup first, you are pouring from an empty cup. And we have said this 1,000 times on this podcast. If you're pouring from an empty cup, there's nothing to pour. Okay, there's nothing to pour. That's why the airline said you must put your mask on first, right? You need to wake up every morning and put your mask on first. Take care of your health, take care of your eating. Our willpower can only last so long, right, Jessy? So if you were to have kept canola oil and sugars and carbohydrates and all the preservatives and the foods in the house that were bad for you, then your willpower would have broken at some point and you would have reached for that chocolate and you would have reached for those other things because they were there. So I always make the recommendation to everyone, don't buy them. I joke all the time that I love bread. Love bread. I could eat an entire loaf of bread. I'm not a big sugar person, but I love bread. So if sugar's around, I don't care, but I don't buy bread because if I bought the bread, I would eat all the bread. So I don't have to use my willpower in my house because it's not here.
So my clients say the same thing. They love bread. So I ask them, what does that love towards bread mean to you? What's the word love mean to you? When you apply to, a food item, love means what? If you love a person or a pet, how do you love that? How do you love a food? What do? You're eating it up. And is that loving? Just reflect on it. I told them, real love, what it is.
Yeah.
Love to a food, is that a liking or a real love? Think about it. Just write about it. That's what actually last week, my coaching call was all about that because somebody told me, I love bread, Jessy. I cannot quit. I said, it's okay. It's okay. But think about what is really loving something means. Is that just right and slowly come to, an emotional balance where you can understand the purpose of food.
Yeah.
Some people say, oh, Jesus said, I am the bread of life. I mean, the bread, the word is not literally the bread. It just means food.
Yeah.
It's not the bread that we know the bread right now. It's all processed and altered and chemically manufactured, all kinds of things now, right? It's not the real food. Eat real food. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Real foods, you can just make it. I encourage everybody to cook. I encourage everybody to cook from scratch. I teach cooking as a part of my program because cooking is not a skill that people know because we are so used to fast food here, right?
Yeah.
So, and like I said before, I am an engineer because of my passion where I want to go. That was in front of me. And I want to teach people that it is possible to reverse type 2 diabetes. So I started taking classes. I studied food, nutrition, and then I took a certification from engineering to this. I'm still working as an engineer, but this is my passion. That's where I want to be eventually. That's why I'm, talking about this because whatever education, health, degree, whatever we have, if we don't have good health, there's nothing.
That's right.
Be enjoying, right? So health is first, and then we can think about our other aspects of our life. And now I have so much energy than when I took care of my children. I was so sleepy and tired after eating rice and pasta and pizza and everything. I always used to fall asleep in the couch after meals. But now I have more energy. I wish I had that much energy when my children were small. So I could play with them and, and be with them more. But
I think it's easier today. There's so many more healthy food options. I love it that there's places you can get salads to go, that makes it easier. So, there's cauliflower rice, something that, we didn't have many, many years ago where you had to kind of make your own. Now you can buy it bagged and it's easy just to warm it up and use that instead of regular rice. So again, everything in moderation, right? It's everything in moderation. It's not about.
You don't need to cook. And I even have a no cook meal plan for the busy people because you don't need to cook. There's so, like you said, everything is available, but be mindful of what we buy, read the labels, take some time to understand what we are putting in our body.
Yeah. Totally true. Jessy, this has been just an enlightening conversation about our health. And, you can follow her. We have a link there under courses. It's is it Sensible Keto? Sensible Keto?
CENDSIBLE.
Got it.
Yeah. I want to give a tip to your
Go
audience.
ahead.
If anybody is struggling with cravings, or anybody is struggling with diabetes and do not know how to take food out of the regular routine, I do offer classes and stuff. But in addition to that, I have a beautiful tip that I use and I encourage my clients to use. It's called 3-bite rule. It is first bite, enjoy, just say hello to the food with like maybe a piece of chocolate, instead of eating a whole Hershey's bar, take a one small bite and enjoy it. Then the second bite is to enjoy the food using all senses, 5 senses.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last tip is to say bye-bye to the food, next bite, take the bite and say, I know you will be here. You're not going to go anywhere. I can always come back to you. So, but for now, I'm going to say bye-bye. I enjoyed your presence and taste and everything for now. I'll come back to you later. So I call it 3-bite rule. And doesn't mean take 3 big Hershey bar in your mouth, 3 small bites.
Yeah.
So that you can enjoy, enjoy your food. And right now I'm doing a Crush Your Cravings challenge started today. If anybody is willing, want.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's there also on my site. So sign up for, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys on Facebook that are watching this live, you have the option to join that challenge today. So anything in your life that you want to change in your health, this is a great chance to jump into that challenge. The link is in the description. For those of you listening on the podcast, of course, it's probably weeks after we've done the live video. Click on that link to learn more about Jessy, how you can connect with her, join in on her next challenge. Your health is all you've got, and I'm going to leave you with this. You're the only you that has ever been. You are the only you that will ever be, including your health in your body that will ever be. So how you decide to take this journey of your health is up to you. Nobody's coming. You get to make the choice. You either are going to live a long, healthy, vibrant life that you love, and you get to spend time with others, or it will be miserable and you will be plagued with tons of medications and you will be unhealthy. And that is a choice. And I know that sounds harsh to say, but it is a choice. We get to heal ourselves. We get to choose the type of life that we live. We do not have to live an unhealthy life. So I hope you will heed that advice and reach out to Jessy and learn more about how she can help you increase your health's worth. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us today. Until next time, be you and be strong. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.